decided, let people judge me, but I need to win my battle and stay alive. When I say I lived it, people started judging me by saying that, something, maybe she's so used to getting everything her way. And when she's not getting things her way, she's just throwing a tantrum. Or maybe she wants to gain attention. She's an attention seeker. Oh, she's a drama queen. These are the terms that it would come to my ear at some point of time. But was I all that? The answer was no. I was not a drama queen. I was crying. I couldn't stop, my tears. I was not trying to crave attention, because when I said that, no, I don't want to come out with y'all, I don't want to watch a movie, I just want to be on my own. It was not because I wanted to gain attention, but because I was frightened to be out there. Now that fear, it actually, I'll just give you an instance. I went for a play, to watch a play, and the play had, the ending would be suggested by the audience. The play went on to a mode where someone was really struggling, and eventually there were other characters. One was Rajinikanth, one was this, one was that. So this person was so frightened, and was very frightened and terrible, was going through a terrible experience to be there, had Rajinikanth and etc. in the company. And so then it stopped there, and then the artist asked the audience, so what would you like the ending to be? I was in the peak of my depression, and I raised, somewhere my hand went up and they gave me the mic. I said, I just wish someone would come and put a hand around that person and say, I'm there for you. That was my soulful, what I really wanted, something that I never got. And the entire auditorium went booing. What she said, everybody booed. I was so frightened, and I sat there, and later the responses went. And then the response that was accepted was Rajinikanth would come and take his cigarette, throw it up in the air and say, Enna Macha. And then both of them would look and they would do one dance, like, some lungi dance. And then everybody lives happily ever after. Everybody cheered that response. That was a moment of realization for me. People wanted comedy. People wanted to laugh. People are not interested in my story or what I go through. So Anita, you are alone in this battle. That was a life-changing moment. And another time, a person very dear to me, she told me something. Anita, we all go around trying to achieve so many things, but the true achievement of what we really own is what nobody can even come and take a part of it, because you earned it. That is what you have with you. And I asked her what it was, and she said, that is your pain and sadness. Nobody will want to come and claim even a portion of it. Rest of it, everybody would like to be in the shadow. This, you will be alone. So what you need to do is you need to use this sadness into your advantage. Every disadvantage, make it as an advantage and go ahead. So all these, there were people there who would give me these probably one-liners. I used to sit and write it down, because at that moment of time, it gave me that strength. I noted it down, and then I went ahead. So I decided, let people judge me, but I need to win my battle and stay alive. From there, I would like to just take on, where did it all start? The second point, please. So it is, what is it that I believed until I went through this? What I believed is what I saw and heard. I would go back to the times when I from Kerala, there were movies like Talavattam, then Tanmatra, both the movies were of Mohanlal, and it is all about mental health. And what is depicted in that is a person who is taken to a mental hospital, that Ulladakam in a hospital uniform. They are put in chains. People are like literally, their lips and walking around and these things. And at times they're given shock. So mental health means nothing but mad. So there are times when, the actor probably would sit down, become violent and all. And here I was a person who was not feeling violence within me, but I was a person who was cringing and sitting on the floor and crying in the dark. And there was a time when someone in my family opened the door. Why are you sitting in the dark? I said, no, please don't switch on the light. Or what happened? And switched on all the lights. That light was blinding to me. And I said, switch off the light. I screamed, why are you yelling? So what I started, and then this constant, telling me that something is wrong. You're turning mad. Look at your eye. You're mad. You're mad. You're mad. And you start believing that, yes, you start believing that, am I turning mad? Would I be taken in that hospital uniform? Will I be put on, that electric shock? Will I be put in the chains? Because this is what the movie depicted. And my people also believed it. And then they also told me that, yeah, you want to go to a doctor, but then, all these medicines are very addictive. Finally, it will get into your brain. You'll become addictive. Your kidney will go, your this will go, that will go. So even though I started taking medication, in 1 week's time, I felt better. And then they said, you're looking better now, no, stop the medicine. So then I stopped the medicine, but it had its own effect. Today, I realize it was not side effect. It was an adverse effect because it was done wrong. So I went through several psychiatrists and I was asked to stop because no, psychiatry is considered a taboo. What will people say if you're sitting outside a psychiatry, a psychiatry department in the hospital? If you're a known person, so if someone sees you there, so what will people say? So the fear of what people say was instilled in me, injected in me, and I got into that phase of hiding because sometimes we say, oh, so-and-so person went through mental health disorder, but nobody knew about it. They never spoke. Now they're coming out for publicity. Even when they choose for publicity. So I went on seeing psychiatrists. So it was like, I see somebody, I stop, I take medicines, I stop. Who was at fault? Here, I was a person who had no clue what was going on with me. People were telling me so many things, hearsay, and everybody was a Google doctor. They would read what they want, what they chose to read, they read. They didn't read a full article. They would choose to read, and then they would know. They had more knowledge about medicines than what I knew in spite of me visiting doctors. So be it Seroquel or Q-Tiopin or this and that, people, oh, I think you need to take Q-Tiopin, because I see that you have bipolar disorder. Oh, I think you have manic disorder. So these terms were terms that I had no clue about, but people branded me. She had manic disorder. She had bipolar disorder, this, until I reached a peak of, it's like you climb the cliff each time. I've written a book, and in that book, this is exactly what I felt. I fell into the ditch and I struggle and I climb up. When I reached the top of the cliff, somebody would step on my fingers and I would fall back. Again, I have to climb. And like that, I was totally lost. And then I came to Hyderabad and I met a psychiatrist and I decided, anyway, I'm going down the ditch. Let me go down the ditch, listening to people who are actually learned, literate, educated, and experts in the field. I'm not going to even let people know what I'm going through. Silently, I went. And with the help of my doctor, psychiatrist is a medical doctor. He's not a person who's just totally jobless sitting over there and, with a stethoscope and, prescribe. No, this is what I was made to believe. But no, he or she is a medical doctor. Then I started interacting with counselors, with psychologists. And it's only later on that I came to know that is through my recovery stage I had a good team. That is, there are several people out there. I would also like to throw light on the quack psychologists, quack counselors. When I say quack, I'm not talking about the people who have studied and completed their education, done their, they have spent enough time through the counseling, through the studies, submitting their papers, understanding, and people who have registered for what they have with passion in what they want to do. I'm talking about the people who are totally jobless, sitting at home, do not have a degree. Oh, I think, I'm feeling bored. Let me just do psychology because that's the easiest. So people who get into it like that, and then just without even getting licensed straight away, they start their counseling career. And there are also, I know a person very dear to me. She got into the habit of, listening to, because totally like you have a lot of time at hand. So people tend to call you and share their problems with you. Listening to problems, slowly you start giving expert advice. Advice is the only thing that is totally free in this world. So it's plenty you can give, no, whether it's working or no. Once this kind of an advice happened, slowly people started saying that so and so person is good at counseling. And slowly she became a self-proclaimed counselor. I would call that a quack. But what you need to understand is that you need to have the right doctor, right psychologist, right counselor, and together you can. Can we have the next point, please? I went through depression. I have recovered now. I'm also off my medications. So how long did I go through medication? Is I went through medication for around 4 to 5 years. For 4 to 5 years, I went through medication. I did not stop my medication. I had proper discussions with my doctor. And slowly, once he felt that I could taper my medications were tapered and tapered. And today it has reached a point where I'm no longer on medications, but still in touch with my doctor. When I need, help, it guides me. And same with my counselor. Now, with regard to what else is required for mental health, I would say a support system. Frankly speaking, family-wise, I had no support system at all. My only support system, I would say, was two innocent children, that is my daughter and my son. Today, both of them, one is 21 and the other is 17. Both of them today are my support system because they have seen their mother go through. They were the best that could happen to me because they did not know what their mother was going through, but they did one thing. They gave me a hug whenever I needed. They let me hug them or even lie next to them when I never told them I'm frightened, but I would say, Neha, can I hug you? Ah, yeah, Ma. She'll be busy with something, but she let me hug her. My son, whenever he got this chance, he would hold my cheek. That gave me a lot of, I would say a lot of confidence, and the fact that I'm not alone, they are there. So I would say the touch that they had given me, that was my support system. Now, the distance that we have to cover to bridge the gaps, what is the gap that we are talking about? A person who goes through something like this, I was also there. What I went through is being vulnerable to vultures who are out there. Now, vultures can be in the form of men as well as women. Now, there are times when there were certain women who knew that I was a so-and-so in my domain of work. They actually knew that I was going through something like this. They would ask questions, but why are you going? They understood the secrets that I had. And literally, they would share the secret out to somebody else. And they said, do you know she's going through something like this? Yeah, she's going through depression. So I'm the one who's taking care of her. Do you know she told me that she feels like jumping off from this one, something I never did say. But then they knew that a person who goes through depression probably may feel like that. And they made it out to be that I had, tendencies of suicide. In fact, I did not ever tell them that, but they started spreading rumors like that. Because I think they could leverage on the weakness of somebody else. So this was done by a woman, and she ensured that she was seen wherever I was, and she told people that she was the one who was supporting me in my depression, which was absolutely wrong. Slowly, after I started coming out of it, when I was on medication, she had no clue I was going to the doctor. When I got to a level of where I could stand up, the first thing I learned to say was, no, enough, I do not want you in my life. Which means I reached a stage of making choices for myself, and choices that were wise. So that is why we need support from medical and experts. That is why we need. So the distance we have yet to cover is huge. People are coming out and speaking about depression, but even now, that is branded as people coming out for publicity, or people, oh, she's really courageous, huh? Look at her, she's bold enough. I'm not courageous, neither am I bold, but I'm only here, trust me, to let people know that don't treat people who go through depression in a way that they end up, can we have point 4? They end up reaching a stage of wanting to end their life. Now, what makes me say that? Because yes, I tried ending my life. Now, what happened that day was that I was in that, that I would say that one day I was at my worst of, I cannot, enough, I'm being judged, y'all are not helping me. I want to be hugged. Just someone to tell me I'm there for you. That peak. And then I heard a lot of judgments, and I would say feathers being put on my cap as look at her, she's not fit to be a wife, she's not fit to be a mother, something I don't think. So I'm just pushed towards the end of the cliff. And at that point of time, I don't know what came about. I got a panic attack, and I just told myself, I want to disappear from here. I did not tell myself that I want to end my life. I did not say that I want to die, but the thought was, I want to disappear from here. Now, where can I go and disappear? Can I go and lie down under the bed? They'll pull me out. They will tell me, why are you showing this drama? If I were to say that I'm just leaving the house and going, then where do I go? I don't have, neither do I have the money, do I need, and I don't feel safe because there are men out there. The minute they see you as a woman, I'm not safe. So where do I go? I want to disappear. All I could think of was to end my life. And I don't remember anything post that. But I woke up to, I say this on several platforms, I woke up to the tiny hands of my son. It only fit so much. I still remember. And the warmth of his hand that said, what happened, Amma? Without knowing what had happened. I was really numb, and I could just, tears were rolling down my eyes. I couldn't say anything. My tongue was, it was like as if I had so many injections when you go to a dental, this one, my whole mouth felt so numb, no feeling. But I just felt the warmth of his hand. And that warmth of his hand was my second life. And what I would like to tell people who even go through such a situation is that it is that, I would say, a moment that happens when you feel you want to disappear. But not everybody will be lucky like how I was to appear once again. This happened at a time when both my children were in school, and today my daughter has gone to college pursuing her higher studies, and my son is going to complete his 12th. They have had several sports achievements, music achievements, stories to say where they go through a lot of emotional disturbances, maybe because of their friends, some bullies, some the pressures of study. But I'm alive to talk to them and be there for them. And that is the beauty of staying alive, to live through this. And not everybody will get a second chance. I would tell anybody who is going through something like this, stop relying on people who tell you that mental health is a taboo, or stop listening to them that what if people say. Trust me, people are not going to be there with you when you really go down the ditch, but they are there to push you down the ditch. So who you need to rely on is the right people who have the education, certification, the license, the experts who are here to help you. Rely on them like I did. And rely on people who do not get into your personal space. I've had one or two friends who have not asked me, what led to depression? Is your husband okay? Are you having a good physical relationship? Or, people try to get into your personal space, even your bedroom, to know what is happening inside. They're curious to know what is happening in your life, because everybody likes storytelling. Like food, clothing, shelter, storytelling is another basic survival that people need, right? They need to stay engaged. So don't rely on people who are curious to know about your life. But there would be some people who say, Anita, I don't want to know anything, but if you need help, I'm there. If you want me to just listen to you, I'm there to listen to you. And there will be, one or two people. You just need people to just listen to the fact, I'm not feeling too good. Someone who says, what could I do to make you feel better? Not somebody who asks you, what is going on in your personal life? Depression, it's all you're feeling. And please avoid people who try to downplay your feelings. This is something that please do not know. When I talk about the distance to be covered, please do not downplay. Now, if I say that I'm feeling frightened, the fact is I am feeling frightened. Now, what can we do to make sure that she doesn't feel frightened? Don't say, oh, it's all you're feeling. I'm feeling sad. Oh, it's all you're feeling. The fact is I'm feeling sad. What can we do to make you feel better? What is it that led to you feeling sad? Can I help you? Or if you feel you cannot talk to me, come, let's go to an expert. Let's go for counseling. Stop telling, no, don't go to counselors. All these people, it's all fake, or medicines, you'll get addicted. Don't put fear in the person who's going through mental health disturbances or something. There are several reasons for mental health. As far as I understand today, some could be genetic, some could be a reason over a period of time, some could be a hormonal imbalance, there could be certain instances. Now I'm not qualified to speak about, but my doctor explained all this to me. So that's when I came to know I did not have a genetic problem, but people had people known to me said that, oh, must be genetic. Your grandfather one day was very sad. I remember your father, when he went through a very difficult situation, I remember he was also sad. Sadness is different. Depression is different. Sadness is something that happens at that momentary, but you come out of it. But depression, it stays with you. You want to come out, but it's like an enemy that just hugged you and is not leaving you. You wriggle out of it. Let me go, but this enemy chooses to hold you. And to let go of this enemy, you need somebody stronger, and that is when you need a doctor and you need an expert to help you. So please understand what you need to do, who you need to rely on. And if I came out of my mental health disturbances, it is because I made the right choice of relying on the right people, relying on people who had the qualification to speak about it, who had the expertise to deal with it. Because in all that, there is a science, there is a strategy, there is a way, there is a method over and above. And this is not known to people who just read Google and understand what they want to see or hear. So I would really hope that today, whoever is a participant here, work together and stop looking at people who go through mental health as nutcases or people who are mad. They're not mad. They're just people who need a hand holding. It is like when we go through, if I feel dizzy, people say, why don't you take some kind of a vitamin supplement? Or why don't you drink ORS? Like that, we just need a ORS or a vitamin supplement in the terms of medication, and we will be back. We are talented people. We are efficient people. And I would also like to ask all of you seated here today, when we say that life is changing in mental health, let me ask you this question. I may not be young enough to propose to anybody online right now, but still, now that you know that I went through something like this, how many of you out there would let your son marry me without even thinking twice? How many of you, yes, whatever I am doing in my career, apart from that, suppose if I were approaching you for a job saying that I went through clinical depression, not once, thrice, I would like to be on this position, I'm applying for this position. How many of you would give me that job without thinking twice? How many of you would let me work as a school teacher to look after children without thinking twice? This is the social stigma that we are facing. I request anybody of you who have a disturbance, come out, speak out. It takes not courage, it is literally getting out of your skin and shame to stand and say this. But the only reason why I'm saying this is because I do not want anybody to end their life because they didn't have anybody.